Good morning, everyone. My name's Dan Topham. I'm here to tell my testimony today, and thank you for being here to listen. So, growing up, I'm originally from Longmont, Colorado. I grew up in the church. I grew up in a Christian church, a Christian household, and culturally, I was very aware of who Christ was and His gospel from a very young age. Around the age of 12 years old is when I originally accepted Christ. I didn't fully accept what that meant in my heart. I knew who God was knowledgeable from a knowledge perspective, but I didn't know who He was in my heart. And that place is really what took me through the rest of my middle school years and my high school years. And I was still involved in the youth group in high school, but I really was living for myself, and I fell into a lot of traps. And really where I turned to was myself and what I could do and how hard I could work. But I still had a lot of insecurities. And so by the time I hit my collegiate years and went off to college, I almost made like a pact with myself to work harder and to not be insecure, and anything I could want to achieve, I could achieve myself. And I worked hard in college, and I really did succeed, and I made a monument to myself. And the problem with that is it was a facade, and it gave me a false sense of security. In that being so, out of that sense of security, I went and pursued Christ when I was in college, and for a solid while there, I was attending church regularly, and I began to understand who Christ was and what He truly had done for me on the cross and the kind of relationship He wanted to have with me. But ultimately, that security was based on who I was, how I pursued that relationship. And right around the time COVID hit, it all came crashing down for me, and because of various leadership expectations I had and roles I wanted to take and trips I had prepared for, things that I had set for myself all came crashing down. And that led me into a place of despair and sadness and depression, and ultimately traps. I turned to things that weren't Christ that really had some pretty terrible consequences. And that was really how I finished my collegiate years, in that place of brokenness. And thankfully I had accepted a job out here in Arkansas. I live in Memphis, but I work in Arkansas. And really, that's where I started my journey here in the South, was from that place of brokenness, and God really met me there, because out of that brokenness, really one of the lowest I've ever been, God still pursued me and put it on my heart that I needed community and I needed Him. And out of that place is I started looking up churches that I could go and attend, and I found Island Community Church. And from there, I've met friends and found a sense of community and a place of service, and so much that I can really grow in my knowledge of Christ, but more importantly in who God's character is. And today I'm here to tell you that He's a loving God, and He will always, always pursue you, no matter where you're at. And really quickly before I go, I want to share with you a verse from Psalm 139, verse 7. And it says, "Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there." And to me, this verse just testifies, and my testimony testifies of who God is and the strides He takes to come and get you no matter where you are in your relationship with Him. Because for me, even in my highs and my lows, God was there, and He really came and found me. So thank you for this time this morning, and I'm happy to share this with you.